Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a fantastic video to get into because we have new Mario news, new Zelda news, huge new Nintendo Switch 2 leaks, as well as another game leak that was so exciting that was hitting the rounds today earlier, but now, it's just false and we have to disprove it so this leak does not spread any further. But I also think it points to something that we could see in the future. So all that and more, let's go and get right into this video. So this week has been pretty goofy, I guess, in the world of gaming news and Nintendo news. But saying this week is goofy makes it seem like last week wasn't goofy and the week before that. But I guess we're just in the goofy era of gaming news. But every now and then we do get a small sliver of something exciting. And that's what this video has right here. Mario news, Zelda news, new Nintendo hardware news, and more. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. We are 20 subscribers away from 33,000. What are we doing? Let's hit that goal. And also follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep the communities growing. And let's go and get right into this one. So it's funny, last night when I was done editing my video, because I record and edit all my videos a day in advance, and then put them out in the morning. As soon as I was done editing my video yesterday and started uploading it, we got a huge Mario update, and that is for Mario Tennis Fever. Now, I will admit, I don't think this game is bad. I just think it wasn't the sports game we should have got first, and I also don't think it should have been $70, right? Like, those two things don't make sense to me. If we should get any new Mario sports game, it should have been Mario Baseball, or maybe even a new Mario soccer game, because it would have been exciting and they could have did some cool events for the World Cup. But we got Mario Tennis Fever, and I think objectively it's a good Mario Tennis game, but it left a lot to be desired in my opinion as well. And I also thought that this game didn't sell as good as Nintendo hoped, especially with the price, because I felt like right after this game came out, like a couple of weeks later, they really started to lean into that variable pricing. So it almost felt like a sacrifice for variable pricing. So everything I just talked about, it seemed like this was going to be a game that came out and then that was it. We just move on to the next thing. But I got a free update last night at the time of recording this video, and that's actually pretty cool. So everything seems to be Mario Galaxy themed, like there was a black hole racket and a new Galaxy court and maybe something else as well. And I think they also added game share to this, which is really cool because now one person can share the game with other people and they can play multiplayer. And I think that's going to do a lot for this because it's hard to get like 4 people to buy Mario Tennis. But if one person owns it, I think, everybody would be open to playing it. So even though this isn't the best Mario sports game of all time, I am happy that it's still getting updated. But Nintendo, there is another game Mario related that you released on the Switch 2 that you should release some more updates for. Now, I've been saying this for the past few weeks, and I think I actually might make a video about it here in the next week or maybe the start of next week. I think huge Zelda news is right around the corner, maybe even a Zelda presentation that will show the first Zelda movie trailer, a new gameplay trailer for Ocarina of Time remake, and there'll probably be some Zelda merchandise and some kind of collectible. They do this with all the anniversaries. The Game & Watches were by far my favorite. The Zelda and Mario one for the 35th anniversary. So cool. So we actually have a look into what some of those products are going to be, and I think this plays into a lot of stuff. So Hasbro will release figures based on The Legend of Zelda, and these first products will arrive in 2027. Now, I read another article earlier today that these products were actually going to be for the Zelda movie, or maybe based off the Zelda movie. And I believe sometime in the next few weeks, we're actually going to see the very first one. Okay, I'm actually reading it right here. 3 6-inch scale figures will be revealed by Hasbro at San Diego Comic-Con, which will begin on July 23rd. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be based off the Ocarina of Time remake, and that's a pretty good guess. Some other people are thinking Breath of the Wild, which is, like the golden Zelda child, at least in the modern times. But I think, honestly, whatever it is going to tie in to this Zelda anniversary. And I could see it being, if it is for the Ocarina of Time remake, I could see that playing into the Zelda movie somehow. And I think this is just very interesting. I do know we have another or maybe a new Lego set or something coming out, I believe later this year as well. Maybe for the Great Deku Tree or something. I don't really keep up with Lego news as closely, but this is interesting. And I just feel like this is all leading us into that Zelda event. I feel like July makes the most sense, but it could be in August. But I think honestly, by the end of this month, we will have some kind of official Zelda news from Nintendo. And we really need it. Obviously, all of this stuff is going to do fine. The movie, the games, the rumored Zelda-themed Switch 2 console. This stuff is going to do just fine, but you still want to celebrate this anniversary. So I would like that celebration to start sooner than later. And this is starting to get crazy. I talked about this in multiple videos. Square Enix is one of my favorite developers of all time. Final Fantasy is incredible. I love Dragon Quest. There's other stuff that they make I like as well. But their business practices are infuriating. I just talked about this with Octopath Traveler and Octopath Traveler 2 getting Switch 2 editions, but there's no upgrade path, they're full price, and the save data does not transfer. They also did this with Dragon Quest XI, the Switch 2 edition that's coming out in a couple of months. Same stuff there. And arguably one of my favorite games they've ever made, and truly top 3 HD 2D game by far. It's just in my opinion, I think the game is so damn good. Star Ocean: The Second Story R. This game has a brand new Switch 2 edition, and I believe it's already out. They announced it yesterday and dropped it the same day. Again, this game is $50, which I think the price, all things considered, that's a fair price. But there is no upgrade path, and you cannot transfer over your save data. So let me try to play devil's advocate on one of these things momentarily, because I read something recently. I don't know how true it is, but let's just say it is true. Allegedly, Square uses some kind of game engine when they're developing their games, and they're not able to, I don't even know, offer an upgrade path. That's what I was reading. They can't offer an upgrade path for whatever reason. But my rebuttal would be, well, they did offer upgrade paths for Dragon Quest III and Final Fantasy Tactics, so that doesn't make sense. But let's just say that is true, whatever, blase blase. Having no save data transfer is inexcusable. By having this practice, they are purposely being anti-consumer, in my opinion. And at some point, man, you just gotta really vote with your wallets. And I have not bought a single Switch 2 edition of a Square Enix game, and I am their target audience, but I refuse to do it because I just can't justify it. So if you've never played this game, I guess pick it up on the Switch 2. You're probably gonna enjoy it. But man, if you already have it on the Switch, just play that version. Now let's get into a big game leak that was going around today for the Switch 2, and I was excited, not because I'm a fan of this franchise or I ever even played the game, but because I'm actually not any of those things, and I was curious to pick this up on the Switch 2. It would introduce me into a new franchise. And this leak wasn't some random YouTuber or leaker, it was by a retailer, but by the time it seemed like this was legit, it was disproven and just straight up factually disproven. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So earlier today, Watch Dogs Dead Set Collection was accidentally revealed for the Switch 2 through a Czech online retailer. And everything about this looks straight up legit, right? They had the box art, it said game key card. Everything just looked like, well, this seems like this was just something that was announced early. This is a Ubisoft game, I believe, and we know Ubisoft wants everything on the Switch 2 because the games are doing really well over there, and obviously this can run on the Switch 2. So I'm reading this on deallabs.com, and I think they are the people who actually disproved this leak. And from their investigation, they confirm that the rumor is fake. The shared screenshot and product link are totally manufactured. The Ubisoft logo, still present on its jackets, is absent from the shared image. The product code displayed actually refers to the sheet of the Crew Motorfest, which was already released on the Switch 2. The ID of the product link is chronologically inconsistent with respect to the latest games referenced on that site. And just straight up disprove this leak 100%. Now, is this something Ubisoft could still get on the Switch 2? Probably. As far as I know, at least the first game is about hacking stuff, and it always looked really interesting to me. I just never had a chance to play it, so 100% I would play this on the Switch 2. And this is something I truly think that will show up at some point or another. But for the time being, unfortunately, we have to disprove this leak. And I think that's important because it also adds like power to other leaks that aren't true. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just pick and choose which ones you want to believe. We have to do this based off evidence. So yeah, this one is false. Now, in yesterday's video, I talked about a patent I found for new, basically peripherals for the Switch 2 hardware, some kind of new strap, and it looked like a new thumbstick or something. Today, we have 2 new patents to go over. One of them is a dock, like a dock that can figure out which Switch you're using, the Switch 1 or Switch 2, and work for both. And then 2, I think I found the new console, just saying, so let's get into it. So this reads, a Nintendo patent published in China describes a Switch 2 dock that can also support Switch 1 consoles. Since Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch 1 handled the power delivery negotiation differently, the dock can recognize which console is connected, and they showed images of the patents down below with the dock and kind of like the airflow stuff going on and stuff inside of it. But what's funny is they said they found this through a Chinese patent from Nintendo. I actually found that same patent today here in America. So maybe this is something we can see sooner than later. And what's interesting is there's already third-party docks that are doing this straight up. You can find them on Amazon. I'm actually curious to get some myself. So Nintendo could be doing one of 2 things. One, they could be making this patent so third-party companies can't do it. Or 2, they're just straight up going to do this and release another dock down the line. And I think that's a great idea, man. It would be a huge benefit. You know, it would probably be really expensive. Maybe this will be the dock that has VRR support or something, you know? You never really know, but I think this is a great idea, and it's cool to see Nintendo doing goofy stuff like this. Now, here is the second patent that I found today, and it's showing some kind of new console. We're going to assume it's for the Nintendo Switch 2, but what they're doing here is moving the battery or changing the thickness direction of the battery pack. So I think this would be for that new Switch 2 model that's coming out in Europe. And the fact that we're seeing that also here in America makes me think moving forward, starting in November or whatever, or whenever the hell that console's supposed to come out, I think they're just going to release that console everywhere. I'm not sure if it's just one country or all of Europe, but it wouldn't make sense to me to mass manufacture it just for that one market. It would make more sense to have this be the Switch 2 going around just straight up. You know, this is a Switch 2 moving forward. So yeah, I was just reading some of the smaller details in this patent, and it seems like they're making it to where the battery will be moved, or the thickness of the battery will be different, and then therefore, since the thickness of the battery is different, they have to move some other components inside of the console. And it's weird because normally you'll see a Switch or a Nintendo Switch 2 figure in these patents, but sometimes they're vague and it's just like a random handheld console, and that's what this is. So there's definitely going to be some revisions, man, and it's actually pretty interesting that this is happening. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys, truly. And if you made it to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe. Let's hit 33,000 subscribers. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep the communities growing. And you guys know me. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.